Burgess here with Music Marketing TV, and today we're going to be taking a look at how to make this morphing bass sound with Hive 2. Here it is. All right, so cool sound. It changes naturally the entire time, and there's no post effects. It's all just this one patch. So let's dive into exactly how it works. So Hive 2 has the ability to do essentially two-dimensional wavetables. So you could come down here and choose how many tables you want. So let's start how do you get to this? Because this is really the core of what's going on here. So first you need to go to your oscillator. I'm using oscillator 1. And you need to change it to wavetable. And when you do, go to wavetable 1. Inside of wavetable 1, you have to pick your wavetable. Now, this is going to be something you're just going to have to experiment a bunch with. If you go to complex and then the distorted resonance sweep, that's the one I settled on. It ended up working really good. I tried a whole bunch of them. You can just go ahead and sort of peruse through them and see which one that you prefer the most. I thought this one sounded really nice, so I'm going to use this one. And then from here we have two position tables. So there's our first position, which will go through essentially one of the dimensions, and then we have another position to go through a second dimension. It's kind of how I choose to think about it. You can go into the manual in more details if you want to really understand the cogs of how this works, but you can view it kind of like that. So I went ahead, I put 8 up there. And then you're going to want to mess with the interpolator. This can sometimes have some pretty useful results. Like if we just go to let's just try out switch here. Versus crossfade. So in this case, not a big deal. On some of the wavetables, they were making quite significant differences. So it's one of those things, you just try it out, see if it's something that's really going to matter as you go. You may be surprised at how useful this can be. So from here, obviously I want to get the shape of my sound down. So I wound up putting a low pass filter on this and using the mod envelope. If we take the mod envelope off, oh, well, first we get nothing because the cutoff's all the way down. So let's go move that up. So that's what I have. We'll get to the modulation of this here in a second, but we've picked our wavetable. Now for the filter, I went ahead, I put the cutoff all the way down, and I put the mod envelope all the way up so that when this is high, it's going to push the cutoff high. And then I'm using mod envelope 1. So if you go to the modulation envelope, this is it. It's pretty standard. You can see the default position over here on mod 2, barely changed it. Move the attack up a little bit because this was just a little too quick for me. And then I just sort of brought sustain down a smidge, and that was really it for this. And just simply positively correlated it with the mod envelope. And that's how you get that sound. So pretty straightforward there. And then from here, I want to add in some movement with the wavetables, right? Because right up till this point, yours should not be modulating like mine does. And so there are two position controls. We're going to modulate them both with the LFO. So you can take this little LFO icon here, crosshairs, and just drag it over this one. And then as well, you can also do that for the second one. So now in Matrix A, we see that the LFO has been connected to the wavetable multi-position and the wavetable position itself, depending on the order that you drop these things on. Now on the LFO itself, go ahead, set the restart to sync. So this is going to make it last for the duration of your phrase. So if you have a 2-bar phrase, you probably want to set this as a 2-to-1. If you have a 4-bar phrase, which is what I did, you're going to go ahead and set it to 4-to-1. This is going to be how long it takes the wavetable to go from one side to the other. And I chose to use a saw up waveform. So it's just going to scroll through at a constant rate as it goes through. So pretty handy if you use the saw up waveform. There's some others that if you want to get some more wacky results that are a bit different every time, you could try out some randomization. There's a whole bunch of nifty things that you could do here. So once you have this set up, you need to come down here and just simply give them a direction. So if you want to go forwards through the wavetable, you go ahead and go to the right. And if you want to go backwards, you go through the left. And so this will actually start at the end of the, now this is doing the wavetable tables. This is like the second dimension kind of. And the first one's controlling just the scroll here. So you could see it, for example, we'll observe it when it's positive going in this direction. And if we make this negative, it'll go the other way. So not too significant of a difference there with the wavetable position, but if we go for the second one, the wavetable multi-position, this is going to have a slightly bigger effect typically because it's going to change like a different subset of the wavetable that you're moving through. So if we go the other way, for example, so that could be significant if it impacts your phrase somehow. So just go ahead, mess around with the directions, see which one you like more. I liked it starting out with this a bit more, instead of the really squarish texture at the very beginning. So that's what I settled on. Makes it for a little bit more pleasant of an experience, I think. And then after that, it's just effects processing. So afterwards, we hit a distortion. I kept the soft clip, experimented with a couple of the others. Soft clip definitely worked the best for this sound, in my opinion. Brought the amount up quite a bit. That's pretty much it. Added a chorus without the chorus. What it sounds like. With the chorus. It really just opens up the stereo field for us. That's pretty nice. We have a reverb. Took away all the pre-delay. Brought the mix up a bit. And I believe I brought the damping up as well, if memory serves. But, you know, this is one of those things you dial in for each track you're doing. Space is going to be a little bit different. So you could keep this or even do a post verb. And then I also added a delay because I wanted to have a little bit more echo, but I didn't want any more verb. And so the delay worked great for this. If I take this away, see how it kind of just stops, which could work. You might like that more. I liked that little echo at the end. That's a nice thing, right? And that is the patch. If you have any questions about this, feel free to let me know. Subscribe and hit that bell icon for future videos, and have a blessed day.